Well, welcome back. Well, as we wrap up the first trading day of May, take a look at April, the best month for stocks in years. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ clocking in the best month in 6 years. And here's a look at where markets ended this week after we saw largely better than expected quarterly earnings once again from big tech and from major oil companies. Also, first quarter GDP better than expected. Economic growth rebounding to 2%. As the first reading for the first quarter. Joining me now is former Trump economic advisor and the founder of Unleash Prosperity, co-founder Steve Moore is with us. Steve, great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Maria.
And wow, what resiliency in this market and in this economy. We're in the middle of a war, and you've got stocks, economic growth, consumer spending, all climbing despite $100 a barrel oil and inflation expecting to tick higher. To what do you attribute this strength, and how would you assess the economy right now?
Well, I love that word you just used, resiliency. I've been using that word too. We are so resilient. We have an amazing economy. You're right. The tech companies are doing amazing. They've invested hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. One of the things I really loved in that GDP report for the first quarter, Maria, was that it was powered by an incredible burst of capital investment spending throughout the economy, especially in the areas of AI, robotics, our tech industries, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, huge amounts of spending, which is, by the way, that's the rocket fuel for a growing economy in the future. So a really good picture. The only thing I was a little bit concerned about, Maria, was in that GDP report, we also saw a growth of spending again at the federal level. We don't want to see that. We want to keep draining the swamp. But overall, I think given the $100 barrel, as you said, these are very fine numbers.
Well, I mean, you saw all those big tech earnings this week from Meta and Alphabet and Amazon and Apple. And with the earnings reports also came huge spending. And what really gets me is the fact that you're talking about $700 billion of new spending from the group this year alone. And the data centers haven't even been built yet. So I guess there's a runway for that construction and electrician job creation. Do you expect the economy stays elevated and strong, or do you think oil prices get people to slow down on their spending at some point? So far, consumer spending is staying strong and healthy.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the tech industry for a minute, because the big issue going forward for America and the global economy is we have to ensure that just as the U.S. economy totally dominated the internet age, we need to make sure we're going to dominate the AI and robotics age. And so far, so good. When you see these companies that I just mentioned that are spending so much money investing and they're making earnings, it's a great sign that we can continue to dominate technologically. Look, $100 a barrel oil is definitely a tax on the economy. We've got to get that oil price down. If we can get the oil price back down to $80, $70 a barrel, I'm with you, Maria. I think there's no limits to how fast this economy could grow starting early this summer.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, President Trump is expanding retirement savings with a new executive order this week. It gives Americans who do not have employer-provided 401k plans access to low-cost IRA accounts. It's the same type that federal employees have. Low-income workers can also be eligible for $1,000 match for their savings. The White House says this could impact roughly 41 million Americans. Most people know how I feel on this subject. I think it is so important for everybody to have a retirement account, and for government to make it easy is a great thing, because you end up having many more savings, much more savings than you actually expected.
Yeah, Chuck Schwab and I wrote a piece, Maria, just yesterday on how important this is for the economy. Of course, Chuck Schwab is one of the greatest investors of the last 100 years and has expanded so many accounts for so many millions of people. This is for people who do not have 401k plans through their employer. You have to have I believe there's an income limit, I think, of $40,000 to $50,000. But that's a lot of people. As you just said, that's about 40 to 50 million workers who will now have access to owning stock and to having a piece of the rock in America. This is a great idea. By the way, if these young workers start putting money into these accounts, it's $1,000 that the worker puts in and the government matches it with $500. By the time they retire at age 65, Maria, they could have $1, $2, $3, or $4 million in those accounts.
Right, exactly. And I said it on the air the other day. My 401k plan was the first step for me to making my first million. And I'm proud of it, and I'll tell you all about it. My mother told me a long time ago, make sure you put as much money as the company will allow you to put in that 401k plan because they're going to match it. And that is what led to millionaire status. So please do it, everybody. All right, next topic, Steve.
Yeah.
Jay Powell, he says he's going to stay on as a Fed governor once he steps down as chairman. Thank you very much. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says this is an insult to other Fed governors. What kind of an impact do you expect here? What's the impact he's going to have on the Fed and for the rest of the year being a governor there as Kevin Warsh will be chairman?
Well, it's a terrible decision, and it's unfair to Kevin Warsh. You know, when you resign as the CEO of a company or you resign as chairman, you shouldn't stay on. It's just not fair to your successor. But this is all about Jerome Powell. I mean, he has been the most political Fed director that I've seen in my lifetime in 40 years. And he's just doing this, Maria, out of spite that he just doesn't like Donald Trump, and he's doing everything he can to try to harm him. It's not good for the country. It's not good for monetary policy. We have one of the best people coming in to the Fed, and Kevin Warsh, that I've seen since Alan Greenspan. I think he will be exceptional. I think he will be an inflation hawk. I think he will keep the dollar as good as gold. That's what you want in monetary policy. But Jerome, go home.
Wow. All right, Steve. We will be watching all of that. Great to see you this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Steve Moore joining us. Meanwhile, the space race was once about getting there. Now it's about staying there. The man leading the company working to build the first structures on the moon. He'll join me next. Stay with us.